It's time for the Frankenstein monster. No, not me. I'm going to do the Frankenstein monster. We are going to use as our subject today a man by the name of Richard Rivas, who's consented to allow us to put all of the muck onto his face. And in about approximately an hour and a half, we should have a Frankenstein monster. Now, if you'll just widen out rather than panning back and forth to close-ups, we'll have a good time here. Here we go. Okay, now come into about right here for me, and now let's start the Frankenstein monster. The first thing to consider, I'm not going to even explain anything about the Frankenstein monster because the concept is so well known. We're speaking of the actual classic Frankenstein monster makeup that was done in 1931 by Jack Pierce, and it was done on that famous face of Boris Karloff, and it was done for the original Frankenstein motion picture. Now close your eyes. I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol here, and I'm going to wash Rick's forehead, and we're going to apply some Max Factor matte finish adhesive and the cap, which is the Frankenstein cap. Now let me show that cap to you while that's drying. This is the Frankenstein cap that has been used many, many times. Now all it is a shell of latex that has been covered with crepe wool, black crepe wool. Now I'll take it off the head form here and show it to you a little better here. Let's let some light inside. Now you can look inside there. There you are, right there. Now you can see in there are rovings in there. There are little pieces of long filament type material. Now that is fiberglass. Pieces of fiberglass that was laid into the latex before the latex dried. Now that gives reinforcement to the latex. All right, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to brush this hair back. Now we'll take the adhesive. This is rolled sterile cotton. Large piece of rolled sterile cotton like so, and I'm going to cut it to accommodate the height from here to here. Not really cutting, I'm just going to tear it so that we have a piece that will fall right across his forehead, just like so. Now you have to leave yourself enough overhang that you can tuck under the brow, like so, and blend onto the upper eyelid. Now, if you can visualize, look very carefully at what I'm doing here, and imagine this flesh-colored, and imagine this all blended in, all the way around, and you can see the Frankenstein monster beginning to take shape. Now, what I'll do here is turn him sideways and pull off any excess cotton that we don't need that will be blending onto the side of his head. Okay, we're to the point now where we can begin to glue this down. Now you can use regular Max Factor adhesive, or I usually prefer to work with duo adhesive because it's a little easier to remove because it just peels off. Now the duo adhesive, of course, is liquid rubber. Lift your chin just a bit. And I'm going to start by putting a little bit around the top edge, like so. And with a brush, just going to work this in so that the cotton blends well into the top. Now you can go down onto the eyelid more if you want the eyelids to remain a little more closed. Now, after you've done that, we can push some of this cotton down a bit, give it a little more bulk over the eyebrows, and very carefully we press the cotton into the latex that we've applied right on the eyelid. Now, this is called sculpting with cotton, because we're actually using the cotton to shape the bone structure. Now, you can begin building up the eyelids if you want with a little bit of latex. And the more you build up the eyelids, the heavier the lids are going to look on camera. It's time now to take some cloth to give this entire construction a covering. This is the cloth that we're going to use, and it is the burn cloth made by 3M company called 3M dusting fabric. Now what I'm going to do is ask Mr. Rivas to lift his chin. That's it, right, hold it. And I'm going to take and put some of this material, which is the duo adhesive. You could be using regular latex if you wanted to. And I'm going to put it all over the surface of the forehead. Why am I doing this? Well, to create a rubber shell that will have enough strength to support the foundation makeup that we'll be applying afterwards. I'm going to use some Q-tips now. I'm going to use a Q-tip to get up, in, and under certain areas and to smoothen and to blend the duo adhesive. All right, now let's take and dry this. I'm not going to talk for a while because if I do talk, you won't be able to hear me anyway. Okay, now we've dried all of that. That's taken about 10 minutes to get it real good and dry. I put another coat on. So there are 3 coats of latex over this, and all of this is stretched as close as possible to the surfaces of his skin. Now I'm going to turn him sideways so that you can see a side view, a complete side view. And you don't want it to look like a built-up piece. You want it to look as though there is actual bone structure under that, or that that's flesh and bone and not cotton and latex over his forehead. Now, just take a look at this outline here. Well, the outline comes up around like this, around, and it follows down into a natural, completely natural, harmonious pattern. All of this that I just constructed falls into a completely natural, harmonious pattern with the rest of the outline of the person's face. And all I've done is actually taken and extended his head up and out and flat on the top by use of the piece here. So keep in mind that everything that you do in constructing must be in relationship to all of the other structure from the side as well as from the front, and from all angles as far as that's concerned. Now we'll turn him around slowly so that you can see various angles. Now you can see how even in this angle everything is still in complete relationship with his actual physical bone structure. And now in the original monster, Jack Pierce fashioned little foam rubber electrodes that he applied to the sides of the neck. Now what I'm going to do to make our life very, very simple is to take a foam rubber sponge, a regular base sponge, like so, and I'm going to cut it into a square, like that. Now I'm going to cut that off like that, and that off like that, off all the way around, till I get something that is small enough that will appear as a metal structure that we can glue onto the sides of Rick's neck. Now when you put these pieces on the neck, you can put them on with a little bit of not duo adhesive, but matte finish adhesive, but they'll usually always come off. The best way to adhere them is to put a layer of matte finish adhesive on the skin first, just a very, very thin layer of it, right on the area where you want the electrode to be placed. You can see the neck area, and I'm going to put this directly onto that rubber, like so. Press it on there, and it should stick. Now, our next step. What is our next step? Our next step is to apply some shading to areas that will naturally have shading applied to them. The nasolabial folds. This is just to give me a little bit of an idea of what we're doing here under the lower lip. And I'm also going to, after I get the base on, I'm going to shade the cheek area here. These are the Cryolan foundations. One is green and one is yellow. The green is called 512 and the yellow is called 509. The green is 512 and the yellow is 509, and they're Cryolan foundation colors. And what I'm going to do to apply them is take a base sponge. I'm going to take a few base sponges over here, lay them right here so I can grab them quickly, and I'm going to take a little of the green, put it on my wrist here, inner wrist, and a little bit of the yellow, put it onto that green until I come up with the color that I want my monster to be. And you can always allow the area over the eyebrows to remain a little lighter. So what I'm doing is I'm putting more yellow onto these areas, taking it directly from the cake, and I'm putting this yellow right on the over the eyebrow area. And I think I'm going to sink a temple in on this side, and a temple on this side to give the illusion of a more slender forehead. Okay, folks, now it's time to powder, and I'm going to powder with talc. Now this can be applied as a shadow to make it look a little more sunken in that area. Now we're going to put the scar right through here, and also on the other side in the same area. Now what are we going to do? We're going to put a little bit of red into that. Now what kind of red would work best? Well, there are two colors that you can choose from, and they're both nail polish. And I like to extend it down onto the forehead, onto the superciliary arch. And we're going to do a little lining with some dark liner. Look up, straight up, and we'll put some black liner right along under the eye here. And I'm going to allow it to extend down onto the flesh under the eye like this. The lips have to be painted straight across. To give a very flat, thin appearance. And maybe a little bit of black in through here. Push that in a little more. All right, now, before we go any further, I'm going to do the black lining on the upper lid. Then we're going to start working on the hair, and we will be finished with this particular makeup. Now, don't put any black liner or mascara, rather, on the eyelashes themselves, because we don't want to beautify the monster. We want his eyelashes to look rather dull and dead and maybe even a little dusty looking. Look straight ahead now. Right at the camera. That's it. We'll leave the one eye kind of drooping like that. I like that. And let's accentuate the other side under the cheekbone area here. Now, let's brush this hair forward. You'll widen out just a little bit. Bring this hair forward and see how much hair we've got to darken of his own. How much we've got to work with here from the cap itself. Now, using some black spray, we'll darken his own hair. And I'm going to apply this to the area in front of the hairline. And I'll lay this hair and spray it black. And let's cut off the excess. All this did fill in some of that area where there was no hair there. This is the distinctive Frankenstein haircut. So if you know anyone who wants a Frankenstein haircut or asks you for a Frankenstein haircut, at least now you'll know what to give them. It's flat on top, with little pixie peaks in front. I'm going to take the headrest off of the monster now so that we can make up the back of his neck, and I'm going to twirl him around so you can see what he looks like from behind. And bring the makeup down to a point where we know that it will be lost into the wardrobe. And we'll take the hair and press it onto and into the rubber, into the adhesive. Now I'll look straight at the camera. Now actually, ladies and gentlemen, for all intents and purposes, this is the Frankenstein makeup. It can be altered in any way. It can be altered in any way. Let's get a little closer. Just show me about this much. That's fine. It can be altered in practically any way that you see fit, according to the production that you happen to be working on. Get a little tighter here, and we'll turn this very slowly. That's fine. Back just a tiny, tiny bit, so we can see the whole head, including that's fine right there. And let's tuck him in nice and tight here on the sides. I like to have the hair as tight as possible on the sides so that it doesn't look like a big headdress that he's wearing.